Hey guys, I'm Koko. Today I wanted to talk about a bit about classic WoW and why I think there's a huge difference between classic WoW, which is currently in beta, as you probably all know, and the current WoW, the BFA. So there's two main differences, and well, there's also nostalgia, but we're gonna talk about nostalgia soon, and also dispel why that's not the only thing. Now, the footage you see right now, this is all from the stress test and the beta, which was extremely fun. Extremely fun, I'll have you know, even though some people might have had some issues with creating their own characters and actually logging in. I actually had issues with that as well, but still, it was fun. Very fun. Anyway, so there's a huge hype going around Classic WoW right now, and there's a very good reason for that. You see, there's a very good reason. But before we go into that, I just want to dispel anything that I never played vanilla when it was current on the real servers. I only played vanilla on private servers later on, and never played it on live. That's just the way it is. Never did it, and yeah. So the thing is, I started playing in early Wrath. In vanilla, I was like, when vanilla came out in EU, I was like 15 years old, and my opinion on paid games, or people actually buying games, or even paying the subscription for it, I was like, you know what? It was like having balls in your chin or something like that. Why would you do that? It doesn't make sense, you know, we're all pirates, aren't we? So, yeah, that was my opinion. That's how it was. You know what, I'm gonna make this a bit less loud. That's better. Alright, perfect. So that was my opinion back then. Of course, I didn't want to pay for anything. So this was definitely not a game I would play, even though a few of my friends did play. But later on, I played on some private servers, like when it was TBC time. And I jumped into Wrath on retail because it was like 18 at that point. I was like, you know what? I actually can buy stuff now. I can afford monies. So let's do it. And I did it. And the world back then was a bit different than what it was in vanilla, but it was still the old world, the OG Warcraft. It was still there, even though things were changing, and a lot of people are gonna say, hey, Wrath babies, they don't know what they're talking about, right? Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about nostalgia quickly. Now, a lot of people say, hey, you guys would just want to play because of nostalgia, you know, rose-tinted goggles and all that stuff, and after a week, you'll all be gone. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be gone in a week because they don't realize how painful leveling in vanilla can also be, and slow and all that stuff. Especially if you don't know exactly where you're going. But that's fair enough, you know, that's fair enough. But I remember when I was playing in Wrath, I was reading WoW Insider every day. And I know there was an interview with this guy back then, who was, even then in Wrath, he was capped at level 60, paused his XP thing, and had a guild who were all level 60s that were just raiding the old stuff, right? That's what they were doing. Even in Wrath, they were like, yeah, we want this nostalgia, we want to do this, it's awesome, this is what we want to do. I remember him saying that, hey, I leveled up a new character to 80, was a mage. In a week, I had the ICC 10-man gear just from pugs, right? No help from guilds or anything like that. And I was ready to go, I don't know, 25 men and then heroic stuff, right? Took me a week. And then when he was doing like his vanilla stuff, it took him like 8 months to finally get his last piece of tier 2 gear, I think, that he was missing, something like that. So that was his thing. That's why they were doing that. And I kind of like the idea of that. I was at that point leveling like a paladin, so I paused the XP and I enjoyed the level 60 experience just on solo stuff. So I did a lot of quests in Plague Lands and stuff that I never did before when leveling up, right? Later on in Cataclysm, I also felt the loss of the old world. I felt it personally. I don't know why, but things changed and it wasn't the same game anymore. This is something I'm going to talk about a bit later on as well, about the LFD and the whole community aspect. So I felt that, and then in Cataclysm I did some of that myself as well. I joined an alliance guild that was called Deck Me Out, I believe, and what we were doing is just raiding level 60s. Of course, was the itemization, everything was different. You know, you could just 10-man most of the stuff if you wanted to, but we were like a 40-man guild still. Anyway, I'm talking way too long about this stuff. I didn't even get to the reasons. So the two reasons. First one is the world, and second one is the interaction between people. So like two things, right? Right. Okay. So the world, the immersion into the world. So when you get into vanilla WoW, if you either play it on private servers or if you're getting in the classic beta now, or if you're gonna play later on, you feel that this is a world that just pulls you in. It's a huge world. You never know what's going to be around the next corner. Of course, you played it before, you know, but probably most of people won't even remember after the 12 or 13 years since BC came out. I think it's like 13 years, isn't it? So most of people won't remember. It's still going to be, a lot of it's going to be fresh. Sure, some things you remember, but that was also the feeling back then when you started. It just pulled you in. It was a huge world where you know, you could do anything you wanted, really. And it felt like, yeah, it's a world and you're just a small tiny part of it. Nowadays, of course, you play in a theme park. You don't play in a world anymore. Like if you take, for example, BFA expansion or Legion before that, it's just a small little island that it's smack full of things, and everywhere you go, they're just like, hey, grab this, hey, grab that, hey, this is something for you. Just go do this, just go do that, right? They're just pushing everybody's just pushing for you to do something, right? Or not everybody, just everything in the world. It's like, it's not peaceful. That's what I want to say. Yeah. Basically, I tweeted about us. It's a theme park. BFA is a theme park where all the rides the queues for the rides are extremely long, and at the end of the day, the rides are actually extremely boring, and you don't get much out of it. That's how I feel about it. It's a theme park versus the old world, which was actually a world that you could basically live in if you wanted to. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. If that's how it is, I don't know. You tell me what you think. The second thing, the people, right? The people. So when you play vanilla or BC or later on Wrath until the looking for dungeon thing came out, yeah, you had to talk to people. You had to talk to people, make friends. Yeah, I know it's scary in today's culture. It is scary to do such things, right? Making friends, nah, that's for like losers, right? But back then, imagine this, 2006, 2005, there's definitely not as many social media as you have today. You're right, you don't have Twitter, you don't have Instagram, you don't have, I don't know, we had MSN Messenger back then. That's what we used, and what it was, MySpace was back then a thing as well. Seriously, I mean, that was a long time ago. And imagine that, there's this geek living in his, basically, I don't know, he's like in his high school. Every day he goes to school and is bullied because he's, I don't know, geek and fat and doesn't do anything, doesn't have any friends. Then he comes home and there's this thing called World of Warcraft. You can just log in, become a hero of the Horde or the Alliance or whatever you want to play. Of course, you should play Horde as is tradition, but still, you know, I'm not pushing here. Right? He can do that, but whatever he wanted to really do, whatever that actually matters in this game that you wanted to do, you needed to talk to someone else and ask them, hey, do you want to do this together? Let's make a group. Something like that, right? You had to go out of your introvert ways and actually talk to people to achieve anything that actually matters. And that was something that was, well, different, because WoW was really the first MMO that was very much available to everybody. Like if you ever played the old EverQuests or Ultima Online or something like that, you know that those were not as accessible. They were for more hardcore people. WoW was for way less hardcore stuff, right? Way less hardcore stuff. So a lot of people could get in there and make friends and just chill. Just look at this. Just look at this recording. How many people are fighting Thrall in here in the Alliance section? It was stress test. It all lagged the shit out of us. It was amazing. But yeah, back then there's this introvert guys that actually have to make friends, and after that they realize, hey, I actually made friends, and those friendships went through all the ninja looting, all that stuff. You know, they went through that and survived, and that's why a lot of people that played back then still play today. Not because the game is good, because there's some issues with the game, right? It's not exactly amazing. They play because their friends also play. That's one of the main reasons. And those friendships they made back then. If you go right now and you start playing in like Legion or BFA, there's a way lesser chance to actually make a lot of friends. I'm sorry, just the way it is. There's I mean, if you jump into, I don't know, Mythic +5 or something like right now, there's a bigger chance that someone's gonna say, fucking noobs, if you wipe on the first boss, I'm dropping the group, right? Depleting the key. Back then, you know, you first had to go talk to 4 more people, at least, if you wanted to make a group for a 5-man dungeon. And then you all had to trek to the dungeon. There was no summon stones in vanilla. Are not summon stones yet. They're just meeting stones. We meet at the stone. You can't summon people. Of course, if you're lucky and had a warlock that actually had the ingredients to make a summon portal and was there, and someone else was there, or 2 more people were there, I don't exactly remember, then you could actually maybe do something, right? But without that, yeah, you just had to wait and talk to people. And while you were going to the dungeon, you were talking to the people in the party. You were joking. You were, you know, getting to know them, and you were making friends. This is how it worked. You made friends that way, and you know, you enjoy grouping with that guy. You definitely put him on the friend list, right? You put him on the friends list, and you were like, next time you went to the dungeon, you were definitely whispering, "Hey, dude, we need a healer. Do you have time?" Probably if he was healer, he was already healing someone else because, you know, those guys were needed. Same for tanks, but for DPS, hey. But I can tell you, even back in like Wrath, when I started in Wrath, of course I didn't know that new realms are bad, but I was put on a new realm when I started, and a lot of people actually were there as well because a lot of people were starting back then, so it wasn't that bad. There was a ton of us leveling together. I still remember my first experience, first night playing on official servers. I was playing a troll hunter because trolls be flipping, man. They're the best. I went to do the Zalazan quest, and there was 5 of us together. I leveled with a couple of these people that we met that day, fighting Zalazan, killing Zalazan. 5 of us, right? I leveled with like 3 of those till max level, which was 80 back then, and played with them later on as well. It was crazy. That's something friendships you made just like on the first night playing, like level 5, 6 is what we were probably. And I remember after we killed them, we just stood there in a circle around that, and we just talked in the party chat. You know, someone was dancing, someone was saying weird stuff in the Ash chat, stuff like that. You know, the community, the feel of community here. And I still remember when I was 80 and I was looking for people to run heroics with, right? I had on my friends list like a ton of the people I considered the best healers that I knew they will actually be doing heroics as well daily. I had them, and also tanks. I was DPS. I was playing the Troll Hunter, as I mentioned before. So I had a ton of people on my friends list just waiting for that, right? It was crazy awesome how many people you could actually have, and you know, just make friendships with, and just know it was all on Realm. Of course, later on came the looking for dungeon, and everything changed. I must say, it's not people are saying, yeah, flying mountains ruin WoW. No, they didn't. Looking for dungeon is what really made the huge decline in the overall enjoyment of World of Warcraft. Same for LFR later on. But yeah, looking for dungeon, because that's when the community thing stopped. That's when the game stopped being the MMO and just went on being on RPG, which now it's not even RPG. It's more like action RPG or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It's different. It's different. I've been talking bullshit, right, for like, what, almost 15 minutes now? I think it's enough. I don't know if I made any sense to anybody. Probably not really, but I just had to get this off my chest, you see. I'm extremely excited for the 27th of August when we all get to play Vanilla WoW together on the actual realms that are not private. I'm really excited for that. I'm definitely going to be playing. And yeah, I've not really been playing any BFA past the like first month after launch, when I was like, the launch of BFA was fun for me. I had fun just running mythics, you know, just zeros, and then later on first couple of mythic bosses in Old Year that I did. I think I killed like 3 or 4, and then it just all the issues with BFA just came crashing together, and I stopped playing because it's just, yeah. I've been subbed since, and every once in a while I just jump in and try to play, but it just no, I can't. We need this more vibrant world, better community, all that stuff. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this silly video. I don't know if it was like very useful in any way, shape or form. If you understood anything I said, because I've mostly been just blabbering around and saying stupid things that might not mean anything to anyone or most people. But yeah, I'm gonna stop now. It's enough. Just gonna say 2 things: world, community. It's awesome. We need those things. All right, I'm gonna stop now. If you want to see more from me, click that notification bell below and tell me what you think about Vanilla WoW versus BFA, or just Vanilla WoW. You know, classic WoW is awesome. All right, I'll see you next time. Koko out.